The majesty of Pope Francis, nothing in his life became him so much as the leaving of it, the dignity of his death, and then the triviality of Reform UK. And I was just about to sort of pack up for the evening. I've got a bit of teaching to do and I've got a bit of drawing to finish. And yet, in politics as in life, people often tell you who they are. And Pope Francis definitely told us who he was, and did so not so much through words as through this sort of parable of action in his vulnerability, in his illness, imitating in many ways or paralleling that of John Paul II. But some political parties, like some people, dress their prejudices in new clothes, hoping that no one will notice that the body underneath remains the same, and they are also telling us who they are. And so it is with Reform UK. Within the last 10 minutes, a story has appeared on the BBC, the polished name of a party still deeply entrenched in the politics of grievance, exclusion and conspiracy. Reform UK, the spiritual heir to UKIP and the Brexit Party, is once again enmired in scandal, not for policy or for hitting impressive poll numbers, but for the calibre of the individuals it's chosen to elevate. Over 1,600 candidates are being fielded in the upcoming local elections on May the 1st, and despite Nigel Farage's claim to have professionalised the party with a vetting system as good as, if not better than other parties, I'm not shallow, the reality is far less flattering. Indeed, it is damning. The campaign group Hope Not Hate has exposed 14 candidates with a history of posting vile, conspiratorial and racially inflammatory material online, in their findings, now verified by the BBC, well, we can take that as we want to, reveal that Reform UK is not simply plagued by bad apples, it is a party with a rotten orchard. Now, you can say, okay, here's another 14 people who are questionable. The point is, this continues again and again and again. Every time there's an election, somebody from Reform UK, just as somebody from UKIP, looked dodgy. One candidate, Steve Biggs, publicly called for a nuclear bomb to remove Islam from the world. Another, Isaiah John Smith Riesbeck, said that Bradford, a city with a large Muslim population, is a shithole, and encouraged others to draw your own conclusions. These are not dog whistles. These are claxons of hate. Then there's Howard Rimmer, who reposted content from the Traditional Britain Group, a fringe organisation that openly speaks of importing low IQ people and references the neo-Nazi Great Replacement theory. That's not a misunderstanding. It's ideological clarity. And it's thuggishness. And these are the people who are being fielded by Reform UK as candidates in the local election on May the 1st. Farage insists these are outliers, but there's always outliers in Farage's organisation, aren't there? He's always having to explain away people who are dodgy, racist, thuggish, bullies, who've said something inappropriate, because that's where he gets these people. There are many who have been rejected for saying outrageous, embarrassing things. And Farage again claims surprise. Again, we've heard all this before. After the last general election's racist scandals, Farage told the BBC he had no idea how bad it was because he hadn't selected these candidates. Well, he's now in the job, and there's even more of them. Here we are again. One might ask, at what point does feigned ignorance become actual complicity? He claims the vetting process has improved. Last time he said it was the vetting process which was wrong, and he wanted to sue the vetting people. Well, now presumably that how can it be happening again if he's not using the same vetting people, or if he's sort of kowtowed them into submission so they do the right thing? Hundreds have been rejected for foul language or absurdity, but rejecting somebody for using the F word on Twitter while permitting candidates who call for ethnic cleansing or repost far-right propaganda suggests a failure not of oversight but of values. Trevor Bridgewood, a candidate in Lincolnshire, once shared an article claiming Muslim immigration was about supplanting the native population. Howard Rimmer admires Tommy Robinson. Ron Thurman has been warned by a parish council for historic racist and sexist tweets. And then there's Elliot Allman in Leicestershire, who once made racist claims about black drivers and now insists he has matured. This is not a rogues gallery. It is the bench. The Reform UK is fielding across England, and despite their words being publicly visible before, only now are they being quietly deleted. Only now. This haste to tidy up the rubbish, because that is where these people come from. What links UKIP, the Brexit Party, and now Reform UK is not just personal. It's not just personnel. There's plenty of overlap between the personal, the personnel, and the rubbish. It's the underlying appeal to anger, resentment, and the politics of cultural purity. These are not just parties, they are grievance machines. And in moments of scrutiny, their instinct is not reform, but evasion. I tried to see whether UKIP was indeed racist. I found in the people that I met in UKIP that there was no racism. And then when I was asked to stand as a candidate for Parliament, and I was given access to the top echelons of the system, I found National Front all over the place. I found these individuals bullying and pushing, and then I saw evidence of racism, which, to make matters worse, was dismissed by Farage as just a joke. Well, it's not a joke. That's the point. Racism, when racism is casual, it's racism that has become acceptable. It's racism that has seeped into the soul of the party. And that's the problem. I don't think Farage can see it. And where Farage leads, others follow. And Reform UK is chaired by Zia Yusuf, a Muslim businessman. That fact is now wielded as a defence. Proof Farage would argue that the party cannot be bigoted because it's got a Muslim leader. This is tokenism, pure and simple. Representation cannot be used as a cloak for structural prejudice. One person's title doesn't exonerate an organisation from the actions of its candidates. In this moment, when the nation faces real crises, economic stagnation, housing shortages, NHS backlogs, Reform UK offers no solutions, only scapegoats. Instead of policies, it offers paranoia. Instead of leadership, it offers bile and blame, and in doing so it corrodes the very idea of civic politics. So don't be fooled. Reform UK is not reforming, it's repeating and repeating and repeating. It's like somebody heaving over the loo, trying to get the stuff back up again and again and again. Oh, look, there's a bit of UKIP. There's a bit of Brexit. Blah, blah. And repetition, as the philosophers have warned, is the trademark of those doomed to forget history. Doing the same thing again and again and finding that you're wrong is the act of madness. This is not a serious party. It's a continuation of Farage's legacy, of UKIP's toxicity, of Brexit's basest instincts. So we should call it what it is. It's not a breath of fresh air. It's the recycling of very old, very dangerous wind. And I think it's wind from somebody's back passage.